My name is Tim Gulick, and this is one of my God stories. My God story is about a young man named Nahum Leon Casasola. Nahum was a kid in the neighborhood where we lived in Mexico, and his grandfather went to the church that we went to. Grandfather wanted Nahum to go to church and told him, if you'll start going to the youth group, I'll teach you how to drive. Funny thing is, 5 years later, Nahum said that his grandfather actually never taught him how to drive, but Nahum did get involved in the youth group, became a Christian, started growing, became one of the youth leaders that we invested years into his life. And when Annette and I began developing online, interactive, animated youth ministry training materials, we needed someone to do animation and illustration. And Nahum was a gifted artist, a hard and fast worker, and so he began working with us. 4.5 years later, we had finished 1,500 animations and illustrations that Nahum had created. The training was being used by thousands, is being used by thousands of youth leaders across the Spanish-speaking world. And that was a great investment, but it didn't end there. When we left Mexico, Nahum took his portfolio, the resources, the materials that he had developed, down to the university called the Iberoamericana. This university is the best university in Mexico, and he'd always driven by it in a bus on his way to Mexico City, and always dreamed that one day he could study there, but it was just too expensive. One day he just boldly walked into the university campus, into the education department, and said, I'd like to talk with someone about scholarships. And the assistant there said, no, I'm sorry, we don't really give scholarships. He says, well, just let me talk to someone. I want to find out. I'd love to study here. The person kind of blocked him. Right then, the chair of the education department walked in, and Nahum began a conversation with this man, told him that he had worked 4.5 years developing online training materials, and the chair of the department says, well, I'm working on my PhD, my doctorate in online education. Show me what you've done. So Nahum went online, showed him these beautiful interactive materials that Nahum had created, and the chair of the department of the best university in Mexico said, I have never seen online education done this well. We need you in this university. Now, 4 years later, Nahum didn't only get a scholarship, he was also hired by the chair of the department to be his assistant. He's now graduated. He's an adjunct professor at this university, as well as a high school professor. So our investment in Nahum has just multiplied, and hundreds of college and high school students have the influence of Nahum Leon Casasola in their lives, and hopefully the influence of Jesus Christ too.